Have you ever encountered a hurdle with launching or growing your business? Listen, there are two things that run a business, the back end and your soft skills.
Telling you right now, if these aren't in place, you'll lose clients and you'll lose money. You don't want that? Well, you're in the right place.
Hey, I'm Dana.
Hey, I'm Sarah.
We're your hosts of the Entrepreneur Encounter, and we're going to give you a behind-the-scenes glance into our businesses, give you genuine feedback, tips and tricks, plus occasionally bring on guests that care about supporting you to grow your business organically and nurturing authentic relationships. Are you ready?
Thinking about exiting your business can feel like the end of an era, but what if it could be a new beginning instead? In this episode, we sit down with Megan from Exit Factor to unpack what it really means to prepare your business for exit. Whether you're selling, stepping back, or shifting into a strategic role, this episode will open your eyes to exit strategies that honor both your hard work and your long-term goals. Welcome to Entrepreneur Encounter, where we talk about the importance of soft skills, personal and professional development. We're your hosts, Sarah and Dana. In today's episode, we're talking about why you don't have to sell to exit, how strong fundamentals boost valuation, and managing your emotions when exiting. Listen now to gain a new perspective on creating a business that continues to grow and thrive, whether you're leading it hands-on or stepping into a new role.
Welcome, Megan. We are really excited to have you here today on Entrepreneur Encounter. If you can just go ahead and tell us about you, the things that you do, and how soft skills might have impacted your life.
Yeah, for sure. So my name's Megan Kearney, and I am one of the partners at Exit Factor Lexington in the Boston Metro West area. And I would say truly there are so many soft skills when it comes to being a business owner and understanding so many different elements of how to run a business, what that looks like, and just the concept of beyond, your day-to-day, how can these skills and soft skills get you through the highs and the lows of it all?
That's awesome. I know we're going to be talking about the exiting strategy. So when we're talking about entrepreneurship and starting a business, we start a business because we're excited, we have a passion and all these things. But me personally, I'm just going to work. I'm just going to make money. But do we really think about the future? So when we talk about the future, why should entrepreneurs think about exiting? Should we do that now as an early stage? Should we do that 5 years from now? What does that look like?
Yeah, I think most entrepreneurs, most business owners don't even think about it until they're ready to sell or they're burnt out or something happens in the family. And so honestly, I think that's like the first mistake. And really the reality is the decisions that you make now impact your business value, the marketability, and really your future exit option. So we talk a lot about an exit strategy really isn't just about selling, but it's about creating a business that is scalable, that's efficient and attractive to buyers. So even if you never sell, a business that was built to be sold is also ones that run smoothly, they're profitable, and really they're less reliant on the owner. And I always say the best time to plan your exit was yesterday. The next best time to plan is today. And for me, not always being the most patient person, I totally understand that concept of I wish I had done or could have done everything yesterday. So just thinking of that concept for business owners and entrepreneurs is super important and impactful.
That's a great point. Like thinking about the future. Obviously, I think about the future all the time, right? And up until now that we're having this conversation, I never thought you should have an exit strategy. When you start, you think you're going to be in it forever. But like you were mentioning before, like you don't want to get to the point where you're burnt out and then you're just going to close and then it's not there anymore. Mm-hmm. So when I think about that, let's say that like there's a coffee shop down the road and it's just by itself, the owner, and they're like, okay, I'm done. I want to close. But then obviously the community is like, wait a minute, like, why are you closing? You can't sell to somebody else. So like, that's how I see that. keeping especially like local businesses in place so that they're still there. You said you don't have to sell and the business owner can still see what's going on. So they're not selling. So explain to me, how does that work? Like having somebody else take over, but the owner still being involved in some way or another?
Yeah, we're seeing that even today where a lot of owners are deciding to sell their business and then they actually continue to stay on and they're contracting. So they still want to be involved in the business as a whole, but they almost want to take more of a back seat because a lot of people, they've spent so much time in building and building and building. And they're like, what am I going to do beyond running this business? And so being able to sell their business, but also still in some ways continue to make money and be involved, but in a different aspect, I think it can be a win-win for some business owners. But then other business owners, exiting can be that they're placing an operator into the business. So they're not actually selling their business, but they're exiting in a way that there now is someone who's running the business and that original business owner is overseeing the business and taking maybe more of a strategical kind of outlook on the business as a whole.
That actually sounds a lot less scary than just saying, I'm done with my business. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
So I really like that there's those options that you can still be involved, because I honestly thought you're done. Like you're walking away, you're done with your business. No, like I know for me, I wouldn't be able to step away, especially like I'm building this is mine.
For sure. And that's a lot of business owners' mindsets is they think in a lot of ways, they're like, well, why would I continue my legacy forward if I'm the person that created it? And we're trying to shift the mindset of how can I continue this legacy that I've built moving forward and making it successful for whether that's a family transition or a new owner that's separate. So it's continuing forward and not just feeling like, oh, even though I just built this business for 10 years, 20 years, 5 years, but you can continue forward and have it be successful for more years to come, but not in your control.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Now I'm excited for the future because I know if I were to exit my business, I would want to still be involved to see what's going on. But everybody's different and everybody's going to have their own way of how they want to exit. So let's talk about like the key factors that go into increasing the business valuation and making sure that it's done the way that you want it to be done.
Yeah, no, that's a great question and kind of a concept. And I think, honestly, buyers or people in general, when they're looking for businesses, they're looking for the strong fundamentals. And that doesn't just mean the revenue, talking about some of the top factors and increasing the valuation. So this can mean strong financials. Are there consistent revenue coming in, or is there consistent revenue coming in? Are there healthy margins and clean books? Does the buyer trust, the numbers are correct? Because it's important to have that trust. And so I think that first thing is strong financials. Another one that we were just talking about is having owner independence. So a business should run without you. So thinking about it, if the owner is the business, it's harder to sell. So having and finding ways to come in and you not be the one controlling every aspect of your business, but rather having employees or people around you that can help run your business as a whole. Another few that I'm thinking of is reoccurring revenue. This is a big one, having predictable cash flow coming in. I think every business owner can relate to that, and it makes it more attractive and less risky. So do we have consistent cash flow coming in? Another one that comes to my mind is having a diverse customer base. I actually was just talking to someone about this and learning more about their business. And I had asked them about, is 20% of your revenue, or are there 20% of your clients that make up your top 10% of the revenue? And I think no single client should completely make up more than 20% of your revenue, because that's too much concentration and it becomes a red flag in a lot of people's eyes. And I think the last one I will mention of like a key factor with increasing your business valuation is documentation, systems, and processes. So the standard operating procedures. So show buyers that operations can run smoothly post-sale. And what does that look like? And I'm sure I'm trying to be better about automating things, not just keeping things in my head, but putting them down on paper and having processes and being able to have a function and an organized manner of how we run the business. So the next person that were to step in line or buy the business, they know what they're doing.
Now, if these factors, let's say that somebody's looking to purchase a business or take over something, and these are not in place, what would you advise to happen? So if there's like the finances are not to where should be, the systems are not where they should be, because if I'm going to go buy a business, I want to make sure everything is set up. But if it's not, what would you say to somebody to get all that stuff taken care of?
I would say come work or come join us with Exit Factor, because that's exactly what we do. We are helping at least 2-3 years before someone was to exit in any capacity. And we help with understanding, like, for example, we were working with a company and in their marketing dollars, they were spending, I think it was 80% in this one sector. And because we were looking at the holistic view and trying to see different value adds, we saw that they were only gating like 2% of revenue based on 80% of their marketing dollars. And so being able to look at the bigger picture around you and give these small business owners the opportunity to look beyond their day-to-day, because most small business owners, they're just focused on the one thing that they've been focusing on for 5, 10, 20 years. They don't think about changing up marketing, or they don't think about the bookkeeper who's there on and how you need to start automating and finding bookkeeping systems to help with the value of your business.
Yeah, I think it's great that you educate them on like, hey, like this is what needs to happen, because if you want it to happen, let's get all this stuff set in place so that when it's time, that it's the right thing to present to somebody that wants to take over.
Yeah. And a lot of what Exit Factor, like what we do is we focus on the value of the business. We focus on the optimization piece, the record, so people, processes. We focus on the transform piece. And lastly is the exit. So we're walking through during that 1 year consulting agreement, each of those components, and we dive into their business specifically to see what 2 to 3 areas can be better in the valuation of their business and the process and the people. And that doesn't just mean firing people or changing everything, but it's finding small wins that add more value. So when they're ready to exit in whatever capacity that is, they're in a better position than they were before.
That's amazing. So when we're talking about if they're going to still be involved or completely step away, because many entrepreneurs, when we start, we're emotionally tied to our business. Sometimes it can be hard to separate the two. Like, this is your business, this is you. So how do you separate the two emotionally? Like, especially when you want to exit in like 3-5 years, but you're still so emotionally attached. How can one separate the two?
Yeah, it's funny that you're bringing this up, because I was just talking to Cheryl, who helps business owners with this exact thing, where when it becomes like this feeling of stress or this sense of I'm losing something, like how do we overcome that? I think for many entrepreneurs, it's that sense of feeling like you're losing control of something. And when you've had control for so long, how do we overcome that? I think we really just need to shift our mind to, you want to leave, like I said before, a legacy that reflects their values and contributions. So what does that look like? And how can you kind of take the pressure off of leaving your baby there? How can you continue to grow it and let it fly on its own, if you think about it like that? And I think a lot of ways you have to let go and look beyond just your own kind of emotions and feeling about this. But it's okay. It's okay to be emotional. It's okay to feel a little lost. Like, all business owners feel like that for the most part when looking to exit in some capacity, because it's something that they've always been doing their whole life. And really, it's how can we move beyond that and put it in a different light so they're excited about this possibility and they can continue being successful in another capacity.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, let's say that you're retiring in your retirement age, whatever that age is.
85 when we're going to be old.
For example, so my dad still works. He's in his 50s and he still works. He doesn't own a business. He should, but that's another story. But it's like, there's going to be a point in your life where you should stop and enjoy your life, right? So when people retire and you're in 50s and you're 60s, and it's like, okay, well, yes, you're emotionally tied to your business because you grew it. But what if you think about what you can do after the facts too? Like, okay, so yeah, you can still be involved in your business, but stepping back and go travel, go spend more time with your family or whatever you want to do, right? So yes, it's going to take some time, I would assume. And taking that time, that emotional roller coaster of like, okay, now I'm letting go of this thing and now I'm going to start this new thing. But I think it would be great for anybody to do that. Like, what, you're going to be like 85 still working? I don't think anybody wants to do that. I mean, some people might. I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like more and more, that's what honestly a lot of people need to start thinking about is what does retirement look like to you? So it could be, like you said, with family or with friends or travel, like whatever that looks like, people need to prepare for that mentally. Because you talk about leaving your baby, but what about yourself? What does that look like for you? And I think that's a really great point, Sarah, that you bring up is like the retirement for yourself. And what does retirement even mean to you?
Yeah, for sure. Because I remember when you work in a 9 to 5, like work for somebody else, to me, I think about retirement there, but I've never thought about own your own business, you can retire. But so now having this conversation about the exit strategy and all that, it makes a lot more sense to me. And I hope it makes a lot more sense to other entrepreneurs as well, because yes, you can still retire when you want and exit when you want if you don't have to work for the rest of your life. And I think having the strategy and having things in place and think about what you want for the future.
Yeah, I think that's a good segue about just strategic planning and helping grow and sustain your business long term before an exit. Like, what does that look like? And when you think about it, strategic planning isn't just about where you are today. It's about 3, 5, 10 years down the line. And short-term wins, when you think about it, it could focus on profitability, efficiency, and reducing owner dependency that we talked about. Whereas like long-term growth is building a scalable model, strengthening your team, and creating a predictable revenue stream. And I think with just exit-ready positioning, it's always about making a decision as if the buyer were evaluating your business from day one. And, you know, a well-run business isn't just easier to sell, it's also easier to run for your own sake, which means more time, more profit, and less stress for that owner as well.
Yeah, no, most definitely. We're talking about long-term and decision-making. You make a lot of decisions in your day-to-day, but, you know, you have to make a long-term decision. When you're starting a business, there's so much that goes into it. But I know I keep saying this over and over again, planning for the future, because you have to plan for the future in some way. I mean, yes, it's nice to go day by day with the flow and just kind of like do your thing. But what if this happens? What if this happens? Like, we don't have to talk about all the what ifs, but in the event that you are going to exit, you need to have a plan. So I think that's a great professional growth, personal growth, soft skills, like
100%.
Decision making. And it is hard to make a decision sometimes because
it's not easy.
It's not. Like, do I really want to do this? I mean, I don't want to do it now, but if it's going to benefit me in the future, then yes, I think it would be great, especially if your business is sustainable and that you're able to exit.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess I could leave with one thought that just as we're talking, that's making me think about is truly, like, even if you're not planning to sell, an exit strategy is really just a smart business strategy. And when you think about it, you don't wait until retirement to start saving. And you shouldn't wait until you want to sell to start preparing. So do it now.
Yeah, just like anything, right? Like, don't wait until this time. I was always taught, start saving now. Like, don't wait. If you want to save money, if you want to buy that car, whatever you're trying to do, like, start now. And I think that's a great point because we're all just kind of like, well, we're just going to go through the day and see what happens. But yes, we definitely need to make sure that we're starting today. Megan, so where can anybody find you online? Website, social media, all the things.
Yeah, we're on all the social medias, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, but you can also go to our website. It's exitfactor.com/Lexington. And then you can send me an email. It's megan.kearney@exitfactor.com. But if you Google Exit Factor Lexington, it will pop right up as well.
This was such an amazing conversation because now I'm just like, now I'm going to go.
The wheels are turning.
Think about the future part. Yeah, the wheels are turning. It's great because obviously we want to make sure that we have what we need set in place. Thank you so much, Megan, for being on the show today. As always, all of the information is going to be in our show notes. Until next time.
Awesome.
Bye.
Thanks, Sarah. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode. Remember, soft skills aren't just some fluffy buzzwords that get thrown around in the corporate world. They're the key to unlocking your full potential as a professional and a human being. Don't be afraid to invest in yourself and seek out opportunities to improve your soft skills. Sarah and I have a variety of workshops, online courses, and complimentary clarity calls for you to practice in real time with us. Links are always in the show notes. And be sure to join us next time for more insights, tips, and tricks to help you succeed in your entrepreneur encounter.